Now we're all back in this country. I'm at navigation school. I don't know where Tom is. He's off someplace. And Tibbetts was selected then to form a group to organize and train a group to drop atomic weapons. And he could get anybody he wanted by name. He had a code name Silverplate. And all he had to do when he wanted to get anything he wanted in the Air Force was invoke the code name Silverplate. So he did that. He got Tom for Group Bombardier. He got me for Group Navigator. And filled out of most of the missions with a group that had already been trained to go overseas, was out of the 504 Squadron. And they were detached from their squadron. They were all set. They thought they were going over and fight the Japs. And by the way, I use the word Japs when I'm talking like this, not because I want to be derogatory of the present Japanese. Do I want to be derogatory of the people we fought? Yes, I do. No question about it. There are two different Japans. The Japan of today is far different from the Japan that we fought in World War II. They're two very entirely different people with two sets of minds and everything of that type. We've had lots of Japanese students living in our home when we lived out in California, and I can guarantee you they were nothing like their grandfathers that I fought in the war. So if I use the word Japs, I'm referring to the first group of people, not the second group of people. Well, Paul called me one day when I was down in New Orleans on leave, and he says, I want you to for my group navigator, mean going overseas again. He says, I can't tell you what we're going to be doing, but if it works, we're going to significantly shorten or end the war. I thought to myself, yeah, I've heard that before too. Lots of times and everything of that type. So anyhow, he got us all out there and we all got the training and everything. And I'm not going to tell you too much about our training because it was just more of the same. I'll tell you a few things about it. We had one of our first meetings with the scientists. And the scientists were talking to them. They looked at us and said, we think the airplane will be okay if you're 11 miles away from the bomb when it explodes. I remember looking at the guy and I said, what do you mean you think? I said, you're scientists, don't you know? And the guy says, we don't know. He says, some people are saying you got to be 50 miles away, in which case you're dead. And he says, some people are saying 11 miles away. Some people are saying you're 2 miles away and everything. He says the consensus among the scientific community is you have to be at least 11 miles away. The problem was we could not get 11 miles away with a regular B-29. It wasn't fast enough. They couldn't get enough altitude with it. So we decided we had to use stripped-down B-29s. These are, you all remember that the B-20 we called. Some of you don't. But I'll tell you, the B-29 was the first pressurized airplane ever built. Now you go down here and you go up here to Hartsfield International and they say, oh, we're going to go up to New York and we're going to fly at 40,000 feet and this sort of thing. 40,000 feet, I wish I could have got that high, for heaven's sakes. We just couldn't do it. So we had to strip down our airplanes in order to get up high, get more altitude and more speed. We would take our airplanes and we had our own mechanics taking out the turrets and everything and putting patches over the holes. We soon found out that wasn't a very good idea because we found out what happens when a pressurized airplane lets go. Out over San Francisco one night, one of the patches blew off. We almost lost the whole crew out of the airplane. So then we wanted 15 new B-29s built to our specifications. And we had just asked for just asked for 6 new C-54s, which we needed for transport and everything of that type. We invoked a code name Silverplate and we got them. So now we wanted to go back in. Tibbetts went back in and he asked for 15 new B-29s built stripped down at the factory and everything like that. The guy turned us down. So Tibbetts invoked the code name Silverplate. And the guy turned us down again. By this time, that word got to Hap Arnold. You know who Hap Arnold was, don't you? No? Hap Arnold was commanding officer of the Army Air Force at that time in the war. And the word got to Hap Arnold. We got 15 new B-29s. I'm telling you this story just to show you the power that the code name Silverplate had. Hap Arnold had a staff meeting every morning in his office, and people would walk in and he'd greet them and he'd say, "Good morning, General so-and-so, good morning, General so-and-so." This fellow walked in who had turned us down for the new B-29s. He had been a brigadier general. When he walked in, Arnold looked at him and says, "Good morning, Major." He would reduce him in rank. I don't know how long he stayed a major, but he was a major for at least a day and everything of that. That was the power that Silverplate had.